Quantum Sounds Production. What up, sound?
Let's see those juice boxes, y'all. Let's see those juice boxes, y'all. If you were on the show, go ahead and hit that plus sign. No. Hey. We don't love. Anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to the Red Room Talk. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Jen. The Red Room Talk is a show about love, intimacy, and interpersonal relationships, including self, to erase different social stigmas. We're here to have candid discussions and cut through those stigmas to show that in the end, no matter your background, we all have commonalities when it comes to matters of the mind and the heart. Nothing is off the table in the Red Room Talk. Last episode, if you missed us, that's okay. You can find us on YouTube by clicking that link in my profile and subscribing. Last episode, we talked about predator versus prey. What's your approach to dating? But this week, we're going to discuss boundaries with tonight's topic, crossing the line, the importance of healthy boundaries. Tonight in the Red Room, we have an all-star cast. We have OG Shad, Queen Essence, and I'm Not a Catfish, a.k.a. Crenshaw. Let's find out how the panel feels about healthy boundaries. But please do stick around till the end. We need the audience's help later in the show, so do not go anywhere. Before we get started, all that I ask is you keep your mind open and your language clean. First things first, I'm going to let you guys in the box to introduce yourselves, and then we will get started. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Red Room. Of course, here in the Red Room, we are polite, so we will let the beautiful queen go ahead and introduce herself first. Let us know what you got going on in the app, and then we'll move on to Crenshaw and then Shad.
Well, good evening, room. And I don't have too much going on this app. You know, I get in there, I spread my vibes, and I go. And I am the Queen's Essence.
Okay. Crenshaw, a.k.a. I'm Not a Catfish, a.k.a. Fashion Nova, a.k.a. Oh my gosh.
Mr. Oh my gosh, Mr. What's his name? Fun is my game, and that's why I'm here. I'm just here, just promoting, different things. Just catch me, and That's it.
OG Sean, OG Sean for a reason. Now, I mean, you catch me here every Saturday, you know what I'm saying, 10 o'clock, co-hosting the best feature show on the app. I said the best. Now, I mean, I love that place. I love that place. But hey, as always, I'm so happy to be here. Please fade me, you know what I'm saying? We're bringing all that good energy. And it's time to vibe out, you know. Happy Veterans Day to all my veterans battles. I salute y'all, you know what I'm saying? Much respect to all of y'all because we are important, you understand? I hope y'all enjoyed the actual weekend and everything because we deserve that. Yeah.
Yes. I was getting there before, of course. Thank you to all the veterans. I thank you for your service. Shout out to all of you, and I hope you guys had a great day. I am Jen and Juice. I am the host of this show right here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here for the Red Room Talk. And then every Sunday, with that number 3 Bubble Wancho number, we do Soul Food Sunday. So make sure y'all tap in tomorrow. It will be on my live. We actually do have 2 special guests for the first time. It'll be the season 2 premiere tomorrow. So make sure y'all tap in. And then we have a new show every Tuesday at 6 p.m. It is called Wancho Snacks and Juice. So make sure y'all tap in. We review all the newest snacks and drinks to hit the market. So make sure y'all tap in on Tuesdays. Also, please go to wancho.juice on Instagram for all your merchandise needs, of course, as well. But let's get started. Whether you're dealing with romantic partners, family, friends, or co-workers, maintaining healthy boundaries can help you strengthen relationships, avoid unhealthy connections, and improve your self-esteem and overall well-being. You might hear the words boundaries and imagine walls that separate you from other people. In a sense, that's true, but boundaries aren't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, they're an important ingredient in healthy, balanced relationships. They're also a crucial part of maintaining your identity, mental health, and physical well-being. So my first question is,
what does boundaries mean to you, and why is it important to set boundaries in relationships?
and either one you could pick it up.
So boundaries basically mean knowing where to like cross the line, or like knowing like when not to cross the line, or when to cross the line. And then also space is just for me, or I think for everybody, just knowing when to step away, and then also knowing when it's time to spend time together, because it's not always the perfect time to take a trip, right? It's not all the perfect time to be away from each other, so it always has to be like a perfect balance of both, the boundaries, space, like a recipe.
Yes.
I think the importance of boundaries in any situation, because even though friendships are not intimate, they're still very dear to us. We do take some of these relationships very, very seriously. And I think the importance of a boundary is to, like he said, keep the balance, and also to understand each other's love languages, their limits, and having an actual connection with the person. You pick up on social cues that instances are unheard. There are very seldom events that happen where you could be like, okay, this person doesn't come from love, so they can't give me that, or they're not used to someone being like, hey, that's too much for me. So I think that setting boundaries is important for all of us, because it allows us, sometimes your first best friend is your first real relationship, and it teaches you how to handle both each other individually and as a unit, how to keep that bond and the respect there at all times.
For sure.
Okay. My point of view on boundaries, I look at boundaries as protection, a safety blanket, security, so to speak. Setting boundaries from the beginning is a healthy thing to me, because you're letting the person know areas, we shouldn't go to, because you want to keep things flowing at a nice pace. So boundaries are good because you're letting someone know, hey, I don't appreciate this, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. So that way they're already aware of certain things, and let's be honest, some folks really like to try to cross boundaries to get a rise, reaction, and all that other stuff too. But when you're able to put that stuff ahead at the very beginning, then that sets the tone, that lets someone know this is what I'm expecting. And they should be able to do the same thing. It should be something where it's mutual because you want to protect and keep each other in that safe space. Boundaries help do that. That's how I look at boundaries as security.
Thank you.
For sure. So I think of boundaries when you think about like a fence around your home, right? That keeps all the unsavory out and it keeps all your good family in, right? So when you set, to me, a boundary is like crossing a line. There's a line. You're putting a line in the sand. That means if you cross this line and you go too far, that's not a good thing. So I'm going to have to separate myself. But as long as you stay on this side of the line, it's healthy and safe. And it's important to set boundaries is so you can, show your family member or your loved one, that you care, that you're listening, that you're respecting, their wishes. Because when someone sets a boundary, it's often for their health, for their mental well-being, for sometimes sanity. A lot of times those boundaries are for specific needs, within themselves. And it is definitely important to set boundaries so you can, respect each other. It's a respect thing. As long as you respect me, I'll respect you, and it shows that you care about the other person. Do any of you guys have anything more to say? Before I do move on, please make sure you don't request the box. This is a featured show. If you have any questions, you can save them for an end, and we will, as we go along in the comments, we can try to answer what you guys have to say as we go on. But this is a featured show. But does anybody have anything else to elaborate?
I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of relationships break up. People cross a boundary, and they don't have enough space.
For sure. If you are just pulling up, that's okay. We have so much more to come. You can find us every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Red Room Talk. Can y'all say Saturday? I know my co-host has
Saturday.
Saturday.
Nah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm contributing. Nah,
I know he has something, he got to be tongue up, you know what I'm saying? He's working on it, but, we're going to keep working on it with him. But we just discussed what do boundaries mean to you and why is it important to set boundaries in relationships. But now I want to know how it affects you. Boundaries can include restrictions on physical actions such as asking a roommate or partner not to look through your phone or not to interrupt when you're working from home. They can also be psychological, such as asking your spouse to accept that your goals and dreams might not always be the same as theirs. Without healthy boundaries, relationships can become toxic and unsatisfying, and your well-being can suffer. You might feel taken advantage of if a friend keeps asking for money, for example, or feel overwhelmed by stress if you feel the need to solve all of your partner's emotional problems. Or if a parent continually invades your privacy, you'll likely feel resentful. Similarly, if you continually ignore another person's boundaries, you risk making them feel uncomfortable and damaging the relationship. So I want to know,
in what ways can setting boundaries protect one's mental and emotional well-being? Not everybody answer at once,
I was trying to see if Crenshaw was going to speak. I think the importance of any connection is communication. And I feel like we as a people, we're just now evolving into these eras of ourselves where we're okay if you're upset with me. And I feel like growing up and even watching the way our parents and the people around us handle boundaries could have a very, very big impact on why people are so afraid or so apprehensive to set these boundaries. Because one of my boundaries could be when I first get home from work, I need to debunk for an hour. So I know that you probably have had a hell of a day, an exciting day, or something amazing happened. But mentally, when I get home, I have to decompress. So it's not like a rule. I'm not telling you, hey, you need to find a closet and close it. Like, it's not that. It's more so like, so that I can be the best for you, let me charge back up. And then that way, if we both need to be at about 84%, because we're neither of us are ever going to be 100% all the way there. So I think setting a boundary is important because it allows you to be you unapologetically, right? And if you have a boundary, you set it, you communicate about it, there's no gray area. I understand that you just got home, and it also allows the other person, or other people in some cases, the ability to speak your love language, right? So you accomplish two things. You have this healthy boundary set that you communicated, your partner respects and accepts it, because this is one of the easier ones. And then they get to show you how much they pay attention to you and how much they understand when things can be overwhelming or even exciting. Some people I can't talk about good things when they first happen. I want to jump up and my CD starts skipping in my head. So I'm like, hold on, wait. Let me get my words together. So the boundary is it could have a great impact. I feel like if we as an era learn about the importance of communication and concise communication.
Agree. What you think, Crenshaw? And what ways can setting boundaries protect one's mental and emotional well-being?
Well, it can protect us by. Thank you very much. It can protect us by pretty much, let's say, knowing how to making the next person happy, because you don't want to make them upset. I'm kind of old now, and I've experienced doing things purposefully, which is not good, and mistakenly, which, doing both, you'll know what not to do, So I think that's why it's important, because I'm not married yet, so that question might start making me think.
Sure.
I feel like when you set the appropriate boundaries, as the Queen Essence said, that's my sis. I love that. There's no need for a gray area. You know what I'm saying? I'm black and white. You know what I'm saying? If it's black and white, there's no need for no gray area. I don't function well in the gray area, so as long as it's black and white, we're okay there. But it lets someone know how to deal with you. How you want to be treated, how you want to be loved. And the thing about love languages is people try to love you in theirs and not the way you want to be loved. You got to love someone how they want to be loved. Not how you want to be, how they want to be. And then on top of that, when it gets to the boundary setting part of, even if it's I'm just getting home from work, I need about this amount of time and everything else. Some people don't even like going to, sleep with a dirty kitchen or certain things laying around. Like, people have things that are boundaries, which are like expectations, like this is what I will not deal with. You know what I'm saying? They're letting you know, hey, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with that. Some people think it's being, a point of you nagging or whatever. No, it's just that there's a certain level of expectation. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So boundaries help protect you mentally. And from the emotional side, it's like having an argument. If you already have the boundary in place that, listen, if we're getting into a discussion, I'll let you know, hey, I need about 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying, that we can do whatever we need to do, talk about it, then give that person that 10 minutes. That means they need a little time to process. So that way they're able to communicate with you, so they're able to come back, like, okay, I had my time. We can actually have a conversation like an adult. You know what I'm saying? Some people look at that as being more than what it is when it's a boundary. Like, hey, if I'm telling you I need time before I can discuss this, give that person that time. Don't be like, hey, you ready to talk? You ready to talk? Give that to them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Because if you don't, you might get an unwelcomed, reaction.
A lot of what you wasn't looking for.
Right. So setting boundaries can protect one's mental and emotional well-being because, first of all, it promotes healthy relationships. It'll reduce stress because, like he said, there's no gray area. It improves your self-esteem because now you know that you're setting a boundary. It's coming from you. It's coming from self. That's self-love. And then it protects yourself from like toxic people and situations because if you set a boundary and someone crossed it, I'm sorry, I'm one of those people. Ain't nothing to cut that off. I have no problem cutting someone off. Now, with that being said, I have a big problem setting boundaries because I have that fear. And I'm going to tell you where that fear comes from. That fear comes from when relationships like it's easy to set a boundary with someone that you love dearly, right? Like someone who's closest to you because you know that at the end they're going to love you and respect you. But when you try to set boundary with people that you really don't have that clear knowledge of how they're going to react, that's where the issue, at least for me, comes in. So for me, I had to really work on and practice setting boundaries. That word no was really hard for me, but it is getting easier and easier for me because now I have set a tone. Because it's like you teach people how to treat you. So now that I've started to, at first, a lot of people didn't understand, like, oh, you're changing. And no, I'm setting boundaries where I haven't before. So people are starting to catch on, like, okay, she's got these boundaries. So if you cross them, then you're going to deal with the repercussions. So I think a lot of it is just, it's self-care. It's self-love. Is showing other people how to treat you, is showing other people the respect that you desire, and then if they proceed with not respecting your needs, then you go with then whatever repercussions come of that. But definitely it promotes your own physical and mental well-being because you're setting the tone for yourself. But if y'all are just pulling up, that's okay. You guys have not missed much. We still have a lot more to discuss. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Red Room Talk, y'all. We just discussed what does boundaries mean to you and why is it important to set boundaries in relationships and what ways can setting boundaries protect one's mental and emotional well-being. But now I want to know a little bit more. Learning how to set and maintain boundaries can change many aspects of your life, ranging from work to family relationships to dating. It all starts with understanding the difference between healthy and unhealthy boundaries. Boundaries are not etched in stone. You'll need to adjust them as circumstances change and relationships grow. This can especially be true in long-term relationships. Communication is important as you reevaluate and revise your boundaries. You want the other person to be clear on the change and the reason behind it. Healthy relationships involve honesty, trust, respect, and open communication between partners, and they take effort and compromise from both people. There is no imbalance of power. Partners respect each other's independence, can make their own decisions without fear of retribution or retaliation, and share decisions. So the next question is...
It's two parts, ladies and gentlemen. In your opinion, what are the signs of a healthy relationship? What sort of boundaries might you see in a healthy relationship?
All right. So I think signs of a healthy relationship are, it might sound a little simple, but like you kind of already think the same things already. Maybe might sound a little cliche, kind of complete other sentences, even without completing it. Sometimes you may think to yourself, well, hold on, I was just about to say, let's go eat that. Or, dang, I was just about to say, let's watch this. Or I was just about to say I was ready to go home. Or, you kind of like, yeah, just like, little, like it could be simple things like that. Like, wow, it's crazy. I wanted to eat some oxtails too. That's wild. I didn't want to ask you to cook them because I know it takes a little while, but I was actually hungry for them. So I'm glad you're in the mood for it too. It could just be like this simple stuff. It just makes stuff easy. Which now it's like, damn, we're like one. Wow, damn, this is crazy. Maybe she needs to stick around. Maybe I need to stick around. So I think that's like signs of a healthy relationship. It's like the simple things are just so easy. So the hard things, you know what I mean? They're not as hard. And so, and then as far as like healthy boundaries in a healthy relationship, I would say, let's see. Okay, I would say healthy boundary for me would be okay. So, um, you don't stream in the relationship. I'm the streamer. I that's just how it is for me. I need you to do something else and just let me have this lane. So and that's like healthy for me. That's like healthy, like us being able to like take direction or understanding, like maybe certain things we shouldn't intermingle, or maybe there's a moment where I won't invite you because there's a lot of men with me and there's not a lot of women there. So you should understand that. Like that's like a healthy boundary. Or you're invited this time because the same men I was out with last time. Well, so it's a date night. Everybody's got their women out, so like that type of vibe.
Yeah.
I think that signs of a healthy relationship, one is like the twinning, the mental twinning. And that is when like you guys think the same thing, you want the same foods, because most people who are in healthy relationships, they're always talking to each other. So it's like, I left the house and I didn't, he'd be like, take out the goddamn trash. I got you. I did it. Like, okay. And I think that when you have that mental twinning, it allows you to see how much of a partner you have, right? You get to embrace that part where you're not always the one who has to do it. You can see where that camaraderie comes together, because like, yeah, you my lover, but you like my friend too, like I want us to be each other's better half, and some boundaries that you may see in a healthy relationship is like, okay, on date night, no phones. If you do have a relationship where there is one person who is a streamer and there is a person who has a separate interest or lane of interest, when you and me, baby, you mine. You got to. This is our night, or these are our nights where we set the distractions and the friends and the family and all that bucket of bullshit that ain't our business. We set that away, and we get to be each other's confidant, each other's company, each other's happiness, happy space, because home is usually where the heart is. If I can lay my heart down with you, because we're so compatible and you understand not just my boundaries, but me. Because when you hear the word boundary, you think of rule. And a lot of people these days, we've been through so much as an era in the dating and just in friendships and them not going the way that we always want them to go, to where it's like, man, like that's another thing I don't like. And instead of being like, well, I'm going to add that to my list of things that I can't handle, it shouldn't have a negative connotation on it if it's something that can be very positive for our situation, for us individually, and for us as a unit.
Sounds of a healthy relationship to me. Being able to stand together in public, whether your partner is right or wrong in any situation, and then in private address that as a unit. And being able to be in a safe space and be able to address it. Because most of the time, some people feel like they're being attacked when you bring things to their attention. So I feel like in a healthy relationship, the lines of communication is open. Out here in these streets, wherever we are, I got your back 100%. But as soon as we get in the car, or whatever, I'm gonna let you know, baby, you wrong. You wrong. You're wrong. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ride with you till the wheels fall over, but look, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I should be able to do that, and you shouldn't feel like you're being attacked, because in that situation where we were, I was with you 100%. So the fact that we're here now and it's just us, I should have every right to let you know that I'm with you, but what you did was not okay. A healthy boundary that I feel like should be established in relationships is allowing the other person to speak. Most people listen just to respond instead of actually trying to hear someone out. Why are you trying to overtalk me? I sat here and gave you the floor. Why are you trying to overtalk me? Why can I get out how I feel without being interrupted? Or we're going back to this place or something like that. That's not something that I like, you know. If there's an issue, I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna allow you to speak, and once I start talking, I would like to get how I feel out before you interrupt me. You know what I'm saying? That's just rude. Another healthy boundary I feel like, and that you will see in relationships, is being able to be the person's safe space. Like, they should be able to feel like they can come to you and talk to you about any and everything, you know, or even if they feel like they got the world on their shoulders, they can come to you, and just being able to be around you and have that conversation and all of that, they feel like the world is on their shoulders in that moment, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be able to provide that space for that person. But
For sure. So I have a list that I wrote out here. Able to express important hurt, fear, or irritation directly to each other in words. Communication. Asking to be heard and understood with empathy. Recognize that what is left unsaid in relationships is often more harmful than what is said. So that means have an open communication. Don't hold things in when you're feeling something, because that can harm your relationship way more. That's a boundary, because don't every time I ask you what's wrong, it's something he's not awake. But this is something I you know, when I get asked what's wrong, I'm like, nothing. That's not right, because then you're not allowing your partner to either fix whatever it is, or if it can't be fixed, to just know what's going on, because then they might feel like it's something that they've done when it really has nothing to do with them. So making sure that you're expressing whatever it is you're going through, or whatever your direct needs are. Also, seeking forgiveness for hurts inflicted in the relationship by taking responsibility for transgressions, repairing and restoring damages, and expressing regret for pain experienced by your partner. Partner in believing that pain is understood, feels assured that transgressions will not easily recur, restores trust and forgiveness. So making sure that you let go of your grudges. You know, don't just hold something over someone's head. That's also a boundary too, because if you're every time you get into a fight, well, at one time in the 3rd grade, you pushed me down the, you know what I'm saying? So that's a boundary too, because now you've opened up this portal of old wounds that you just keep reopening and rehashing. So you have to say, okay, look, when we argue, we're not going to bring up old stuff. We're going to directly deal with whatever it is that is in front of us, that would need the needs that need to be met at that moment. We're not going to bring up old stuff. That's a boundary. And then also something healthy is giving up being right. Invite and express diversity. Welcome the differences and sources of vigor, perspective, and healthy growth for a relationship. Choose to learn from each other. So whatever it is that your partner have that is different from you, respect that. Respect someone's differences. That not everyone is the same. We are all born from in different areas and different places. You know, we all have different thoughts and needs and love languages and that. So respecting the differences as well as your similarities. Always be truthful and trusting, and of course have fidelity. And that's a foundation. That's also a boundary. If you ever cross a boundary, that means you're not late night texting other women in the background. You're not, or men. We're not going to just text the men, but whatever it is, that you're not, crossing a line as far as other with the opposite sex, or however, whatever your dating preference is. But also, knowing each other's pleasure and pain buttons. So, if I keep, that's what I said, whatever your preference is. But, knowing each other's pleasure and pain buttons, that means I know that if I hit this button, that this is something that's a sore spot for you. That means don't listen to what I'm telling you. Like, if I express to you that, I don't like watching Grey's Anatomy because this one time, I was in the hospital, and I'm just using that as a really bad example, but that's something that triggers me. So don't go and put on that show knowing that I can't handle, you know what I'm saying? This is a really bad example, but just things. I don't know. It was just the first thing that popped.
That's a really bad
I
example.
love Grey's Anatomy, by the way.
What if it's one of those moments? What if it's one of those moments where you've had an argument and the first thing they do is play like breakup songs? Like you haven't had a conversation, but we had like a little misunderstanding. And now you want to throw all the breakup
Every time you
songs,
mad, like a
what's
scrub is a guy that thinks he's fine.
Yes,
You gotta be petty. You gotta put
sits
on
on
Deuces
his,
by
no,
Chris
he just
Brown.
lost his job.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
For the birds.
And just
Excuse my
sits
French,
on
but
his
you know.
broken, knowing that when he just lost his
Ain't nothing
job.
but a
Don't do
vulture.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, he just lost his job. Gosh dang it. But just like someone's trigger points. If you know something triggers someone, like I know, if, for instance, like I have a friend that they don't like. When someone plays a certain song, like you even said, because it's something that triggers a pain in them. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't play that, because that's something that triggers them of a time that was not good for them. So things like that, just making sure that you're not hitting someone's trigger points. And then also, the last thing is develop a strong sense of we. Have intentional rituals, custom styles that create a unique relationship, but don't always think like, oh, well, I feel this way or this. You turn your I's into we's and your me's into us. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you're always respecting your partner and putting them in on whatever it is that you're doing, that you're going to do, that you always consider the other person. That's also a boundary. Because if I never think of you in anything that I do, that's crossing a boundary for me. So, I just don't matter. So think before you make decisions about the other person. Do you guys have anything else to say? I think I said them out.
That was great information. I've been taking notes.
Yes. But by the way, I do love Grace and Matt Anatomy. But anyway, if y'all are just pulling up, that's okay.
Whatever Grace.
No, it's not. You're late. No, it ain't. You're late.
Yep.
You're late.
Really quick.
Very late.
You're late.
And
Yeah,
really
you are.
quick. Back
Yeah.
to Sean saying when he was getting, as soon as he get in the car, he gonna say, "Baby, you was wrong." See, I'm gonna wait till after I hit, and then it's tomorrow. We have breakfast. Then I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, you was wrong last night. That was crazy. That was crazy, girl."
That's crossing the boundary,
That
my
was
boy.
I'm just saying, like I got hit first.
And then we're gonna be on first 48. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, first 48.
But you guys can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Red Room Talk. We just discussed what does boundaries mean to you and why is it important to set boundaries and what ways can setting boundaries protect one's mental health and mental and emotional well-being, what are signs of a healthy relationship, and what boundaries might you see in a healthy relationship. But boundaries are a pillar of success in any relationship. It sets the groundwork for happy relationships filled with love, trust, and respect. We all deserve to feel that way, and we shouldn't accept unhealthy boundaries no matter how much we care about the person. We also can expect to execute our boundaries flawlessly as soon as we establish them. They take time and commitment to develop. We need to practice saying no. That's really hard for a lot of y'all and myself. And communicating clearly. The feeling of relief that comes with setting healthy boundaries in relationships will make the effort more than worth it along the way. You might need some help with establishing your boundaries. So, I want to know.
What is a good way to go about a situation where someone has crossed one of your boundaries and it's a person you have difficulty saying no to?
I'm a happy hour or like open space that's not either one of our place type of thing. I think that approach and tone is very important when you have to address something, because you have to remain respectful. You want to remain assertive, and you also want to communicate effectively. So I don't think that there's any person besides my son that I have a problem saying no to. But even there, it's just like, hey, I only work Thursday through Saturday. So that means that the income is only coming in Thursday through Saturday. So you asking me for these expensive things on Tuesday. You got to wait your day of the week. You got to wait till the City Girls is up. And then he'd be like, you know what, Mom, you're right. When I be seeing when the City Girls is up. I know. So with like a partner, I'll be like, hey, I noticed the other day at dinner, did you feel something shift after so-and-so said X, Y, and Z? And give them the option to see if they're even thinking from the vantage point that I am, right? And if they're not, then I'd be like, well, it kind of triggered me a little bit. And then before I go into that, can we talk about this now? Because even though it's a boundary of mine, respecting another person's space and their mental sanity, knowing how things affect you, you have to be like, is this the right time to have this conversation? Right? And then I've respected you. I've gotten my boundary or what scenario triggered this boundary. And you know that we either can talk about this now or eventually there's something that we have to table and readdress. Because we could be knee deep in love. We could have fell smooth in quicksand. The world is full of banana peels. We could have slipped and fell right into it. But it doesn't mean that we're always on the same communication plane. It doesn't mean that we're always in the same mental headspace to take on these things, even in a situation where one of you is triggered and the other one is oblivious to it. Yeah, I might be oblivious to what you got going on, but this person upset me at work earlier and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. So yeah, you got this going on, but I got something that is not more important than you, but it's important to me. So let's try this again tomorrow after work, you know? And that's just everybody being respectful and clear and concise about what they have going on, what they can take on, and an action plan, right? We'll talk about it later. Tonight, we're gonna stick to one of our promises and we don't go to bed mad. And I don't know where this conversation is gonna go, so we just gonna go to bed. You know, like being in a situation open enough for y'all to have those type of things and those type of connections and that type of game plan between the two of you. You know, be it intimately or just platonically.
Agree. I love it here.
Yeah.
You need me to read the question again? Then you're good.
Well, for me, when someone crosses a boundary, for me, like how I would handle the delivery of that information to let them know they crossed it. All right, so I'm the type. I don't know. I'm a little sneaky. I'm not gonna like directly, pretty much let you know. So we might like have like a good time. You know, we may like I don't know, go to like Dave and Buster's or like, you know, somewhere where like we're gaming. You know, something where like I'm gonna make a point to whip your ass. You know what I mean? But not like physically. You know what I mean? Or like go-kart racing. You know what I mean? Or like I don't know, or like we go to the Sky Zone, trampoline park, jump around, you know, stuff like that. I'll just make a point to kind of like outdo you, right? But it's a little right. But basically, what'll happen is we'll have a good time, and you're gonna think to yourself like, why you like you don't let me like win? You know, like what's going on? Like you know what's like you know what's up? Then I'll use those as examples. You know, of that didn't feel good, did it? You know, because it's more of a playful way for me to enter in the conversation and say, you know. Is
your name Crenshaw Petty? Is that somewhere in your name?
Well, just a little bit, you know. Just be like, hey, you know, I mean, you know, it's just, you know, just like I tell them like, you know, I just had to blow off some steam myself, like, cause you know, you borrowed my car the other day. Okay, you smoked in it. You left ashes all over. You use it like it was an ashtray. You don't pay no car note. I'm okay with you borrowing it. I don't have no problem with it. You know what I mean? Then I saw your story. You had some friends in there. Y'all wilding out. Y'all was all in there smoking. So you had enough people. Y'all could have cleaned the car, but at least stopped by the car wash or something. You know what I mean? Give you a pass. Yeah,
you can't do it alone. You gotta have other people with you.
I mean, you know, so, but look, if I deliver it like that, it's a little bit light. I'm just different. Or my other approach is y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I'll deliver it during sex. You know what I mean? Because there ain't no better time than during sex to have an argument. You know what I mean? You know exactly. Like, it's good, huh? Like it's good. Then you Yeah, so the other day when you was in my car, hotboxing, huh? All your motherfucking friends. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You can just, I don't know. I'm just, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then the song go from R. Kelly to I put on some sexy red ski. I'm like, yeah, y'all was wilding up in the car. I saw y'all still, that's how I am, because then it's like, it's, basically it's something that you're gonna remember two ways. You know what I mean? Sexually and mentally, not to do that again.
After tonight, Crenshaw will be changing his name to Petty-Yonsei. And that's just where we're going to leave him.
Oh, that was
for me,
fearful, Lord.
yeah.
I mean, it's a unique relationship with me, man. Crazy.
Somebody crossed the line. I'm direct. I feel like the direct approach is the best approach. And I've learned over the years that it's not what you say, but how you say it, because most of the time it's based off the first reaction, first instinct, you know what I'm saying? And my voice has already got a nice tone to it, but when I'm upset, you're going to know I'm upset. You're going to feel this and you're going to hear. But over the years, I've learned, the tact method, but the direct approach has always been the best approach. Boundaries are there for a reason. And if you want to find yourself to keep crossing those, then I can cross you out of my life, you understand? You're not bringing me peace, you're not respecting me. That all correlates back to respect when it comes to me. Like, boundaries are set in place for a reason. You want to keep crossing, okay, you have no respect. You think it's a game, okay, cool. Get out of here. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is.
Forget about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
I'm so happy I'm on the non-petty side of the screen tonight. They be out to get us.
And fun.
Oh, I thought it said Pablo. He was almost in trouble. But be calm, firm, and clear about what your needs are. Have clear and reasonable consequences for crossing said boundary. And it's like, per se, that someone has a habit of talking over you. For example, you could say, I feel disrespected when you talk over me. If you do that again, I'll have to end the conversation. And stick by it, because if you keep allowing that person to do it, they're just gonna, it's like you allow someone to slide, they're gonna ice skate. So, and then also when you're setting a new boundary, remember that this is new for the other person, so give them time also, and allow them to and they might make a mistake and still talk over you, or they might make a mistake, but then allow them a little bit of wiggle room, because you have just set a new boundary that you've never set before. So
right.
Just giving someone a little grace. But now say that you've set this boundary, and now 2, 3, 4 months down the line, okay, now you've crossed it again. Okay, then you have to set a different kind of boundary. Like, okay, well, now we're done talking, or now whatever the consequence is. But when you have trouble, like say you have trouble setting a boundary, which is something that I have issue with, I have difficulty saying no to everyone. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That is a very hard thing for me. But practice it. Practice saying no. Practice saying no. Even if you have to. I'm one of those people, I'll be like, okay, and I just have to spit it out. Even if I can't say it to you physically, I might have to just text it to you, because I know that I have trouble with, I don't like, confrontation. So for me, I might not be able to just say it directly to you. I might have to text it to you, because I know that if I get in your face, I'm going to just
lose it.
So it might just be that you have to practice doing that over and over, even if it sucks, because it does suck to tell someone no, but just to keep practicing that. But yeah, do you guys have anything more to say on that?
Oh, good over here.
Just that I agree. Keep practicing.
Yes, keep practicing. Just keep
practicing.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes.
It's a beautiful word, honestly.
Yes.
It is.
Oh yes, I've actually
Destiny
found that I
Child
love the word
one
no,
time
where
and
I
one
used to
time.
hate it. I mean, I hate saying it to people, but I've learned like, wow, I'm at more peace now because I said no, and then later you realize like, now I don't have to do the thing that I didn't want to do in the first place. You know, like, it's a beautiful thing sometimes. But if y'all
Yeah.
are, say it again.
So yeah.
Yeah. So if y'all are just pulling up, you're late. You're like so late.
Yeah.
Very late.
So late.
Absolutely late.
You have not
Party
missed
for the
everything,
party.
though. We still have a little bit more to discuss. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Red Room Talk. We just discussed, you know what? We discussed a whole lot, and I'm not going to go through the list because you should have been here. Okay? So I'm just going to move on to the next thing. Even if you have been in a relationship for an extended period of time, it is a good idea to revisit your boundaries. They may have changed or may have now have a better understanding of what you find acceptable or not. Although it can be a difficult and uncomfortable conversation, it will likely bring you and your partner or family member or friend closer together. We do believe that boundary conversations are also beautiful. You and your partner or family member are creating the rules for your relationship together. The creation of your relationship guidelines isn't as glamorous as a first kiss, but I think it's far more important. It may take multiple conversations, like I was just speaking on earlier, but it will be worth it. Difficult conversations like these are the ones that are the most fruitful and impactful in a relationship. So the next question is,
In some relationships, healthy boundaries seem to form naturally and easily. In other relationships, setting healthy boundaries is difficult. Tell us about a time you personally had challenges when trying to set a healthy boundary, and how did you conquer them or overcome them?
Well, I mean, I guess like after COVID, you know, like during COVID, I'm not sure if you guys spent time with anybody. The expectations is like you're always gonna be there, right? Because we ain't outside, inside. But like, but after COVID, it was like, yo, we outside. Like we was inside, but we outside. Like, yeah, you was on Tag Live. Like it was cool, you know. But like this new boundary alert. You know what I mean? Boundary alert. It's like also too. I'm back to work now. You know, I'm not in the house now. Like I got to go. I gotta go to work now. We can't be chilling. Like, look, I'd love to sit here and give you a massage all day, but I gotta go to work now. Yeah, I'm just saying. That's what she said. See what I'm saying? COVID is over, right? So, boundary reset. Mm-hmm.
I'm just here for the commentary.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that's just an example. I'm not sure if y'all had to readjust after COVID and tell people the time that you had is you have less time, right? Especially if you have kids, because they in school now, right? You got to put gas in the car. You got to drop them off. Like that stuff. I mean, unless you want to ride with me and you want to go half. I mean, because I don't need you there. Yeah, I don't need you there now. Because I don't need you backseat driving. I don't need you. I don't just space, right? Remember, first question, space. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? So but yeah, no, I think that was a good example. Like,
A time where I had to set a boundary.
Where you personally had challenges you faced when trying to set healthy boundaries, and how did you overcome it?
I don't think I've had an issue there. Like, I'm very communicative. Like, if something bothers me or I'm upset or I know that something can make me upset, I might have to like get on the phone with like one of my sisters, because I'm very I don't like to use the word aggressive. I feel like I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about. And my emotions show when I have to speak about something that I am passionate about. or things that have can or will trigger me. So I think the hardest part of addressing a boundary or setting one or having to be in a scenario where you got to be like, yo, I got to put my foot down on this, is just understanding that you're talking to a person and I'm not talking at them. And keep in mind that they may be totally oblivious to the fact that they triggered me in a way. And a lot of times too, you have to understand like who I'm dealing with. If a person tells me that they come from a lot of trauma and, or they didn't, have the best upbringing, or they have PTSD from another situation, then I understand. But that the PTSD that you have, I have a form of it as well, and you triggered that. So when I'm approaching people, I think that considering what they're capable of, getting clarification on what they could be open to being more comfortable with, and understanding that at some point it may be a compromise that I may not like, or that could be new to me. But everyone is different, and the way that they handle things are different. And so the way that you have to approach situations that I'm familiar with, I'm approaching a familiar situation with a new being. So I think those are like key points for me when addressing any person with any boundary.
One of the challenges for me that I've had is when dealing with family members. It's how they view you as you've grown through life. Because even my mom, I'm almost 33 years old. She's like, "Oh, you're always my baby boy. You're always my baby boy. You're always my baby boy." You get tired of hearing it because I'm grown, And then you have those family members who always view you and whatever like they've seen you as you've grown, and then learning whether to address certain situations. Am I going to let them have it today, or am I going to let them have it today? You know what I mean? Because I'm one of those people. You're not going to play with me. Yeah, it's a difference. You're not going to play with me. So it's either I'm choosing to walk away or conquer it head on, or take you head on, or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the biggest things that I think growth is important with, because if it wasn't for growth, most of the time it would not be, a pleasant conversation. But choosing to turn the other cheek, as they say, sometimes it's a good thing. You can let somebody know that they got you messed up without letting them know they got you messed up. Another challenge I've had is, don't tell nobody this, but when it comes to my daughters, like I cannot tell them no about when it comes to anything. Like those little girls come up and they'll be like, "Hey, Daddy, I won't have in the world tomorrow." And they're like, "Okay, cool, I got it. It's coming right up for you." I have not been able to tell them no for anything. So I'm learning to lean on that more when it comes to my daughters, because my oldest, she came, "I got questions, yes or no," and I'm like, how do you handle that? And then it's like whatever they want, they get. So I'm starting to say no. So you guys, please pray for me, because that's a boundary I'm trying to establish now. But yeah.
Dear God, if you're listening now, I need to do some things. But before I answer y'all in the comments, please do not go anywhere. We will need you guys shortly before I answer. Please stick around. But a time that I had a problem setting a boundary is I had this roommate. I'm sorry if you're in here listening, but probably not. But I had this horrible... Is it 11 yet? Anyway, this horrible roommate, right? Horrible roommate. And the girl I would literally clean my house. Like, I'm one of those people, I like a very clean house. I don't like things out of place. Now, if I messed it up, okay, I did it, all right? So I could deal with my mess. But if I would just clean my kitchen, and this heifer, this bitch, it's 11, would come home and would mess up my kitchen she would like meal prep, right? But she would come in and she would have all of her, I literally would just finish cleaning the kitchen. And this heifer would come home, bring all of her stuff, mess up the kitchen, and not even like clean up now the sink is full of dishes. I just did all the dishes, just mopped, swept, wiped everything down, all of it. And I would just sit there and I'm like, but I would take it out on everyone else, and because I could not bring myself to just tell her, like, look, can you clean your up? And so one day, this one fateful day, I snapped. I snapped. I was finally like, I can't take it no more. Like, I cannot deal with this. Like, you don't respect me. You don't give a shit. Like, you see that I fucking just cleaned the house. Like, can you please just clean up after yourself? Like, I need you to do this. For me, for my own mental health, like, I already have enough trouble doing this stuff. I've got a lot of health problems, all this. I literally just had surgery. Literally, I couldn't even walk barely. And I would be cleaning up after her. I couldn't take the trash down. I was still taking the trash down. I wasn't even supposed to be doing any of this. I could have ripped my stitches, all that. And I was so finally over, I just snapped. Not that I recommend that to anybody else. Do not just snap. But I should have I tried to set the boundary in the beginning, but I backseat. See, right? The more she did it, I just kept it to myself, and I let it build and build and build and build and build. And that's when you get the blow-ups. But I think if I had to do it correctly and to throw some leaves on that bitch. But I think had I set, look, the box is gone, y'all. It's okay. But had I just explained to her from the very gate, and I had sat her down and explained everything in a concise, clear tone, it probably wouldn't have got as bad as it did. So next time, I just let someone know my needs, my immediate needs, how I need you to present yourself. Because this is my home, okay? You're just a visitor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so...
Just know, whenever I come over, I'm throwing hella random paper towels all over the house.
I will be sure. And that is my own. I will
Wet ones
I'm
too.
knocking everything over. I'm
Wet
knocking
and I will put super
everything
glue
over.
on the toilet seat, and you will be stuck with me forever. All right?
Oh Lord.
But y'all, if y'all are just pulling up, you're so late. Like, it's literally almost over, y'all. But
So late, man.
But as the story goes, yes, sirski. When you hear that sound, that means we are at our hot seat question segment. Our hot seat question is now left up to the fate of the audience, y'all. I went to Instagram to ask our peers what they wanted to ask for this week's hot seat question. If you want your question to be featured on next week's episode, make sure you go to my profile and click that icon and follow me on Instagram and look out for that hot seat question post. Now is the time to enter in the comments who on the panel you want to answer tonight's hot seat question before I reveal it. Go ahead and enter now.
Oh, she said now. Okay.
No! People can't be bringing their friends up in here co-signing. Y'all ain't buying a car? Y'all is not buying a car, Ghost?
I love
He do not need no co-signer. You stay over there.
I mean, right now it's 2 for you.
Yours don't count.
It definitely counts.
Oh,
That's
Mia!
It definitely counts. That's 4. That definitely counts.
Oh,
Gizmo did not type that, bro.
I'm so sorry.
Definitely
But as the cookie crumbles, this week
the dogs
actually,
have it.
I wrote in. I wrote it this week, y'all. So this is. I was gonna ask a different question, but because it's you, I'm gonna ask another question because you already said that you don't really have trouble setting boundaries. But the question was gonna be, what is a boundary you want to set but haven't been able to? But I actually had someone write in a question, and they said, say that your partner's ex, or excuse me, that your partner's ex had an emergency situation and that person needed help, should they tell you before, during, or after? And would you have a problem with them?
Depends on the ex, depends on the request,
Okay,
and
so
depends on what role said ex has played, whether no matter good or bad in our relationship to date. So if it's an ex that I'm aware of, everyone knows where they stand on the panel, and they've been a respectful person, because some of us have ties to an ex where we it just didn't work intimately, but that's my dog, This is something that is explained early in the relationship. Like, hey, I do have an ex that I am cool with. If you're okay meeting this person, or I have a friend that I did try to date previously, and however, offer as much information as I can, so it would be hard for me to say no to someone who needed help, no matter who that person was. I'm going to say, in a perfect world, when the phone rings or right after the request, your partner should be reaching out to you. Because the worst thing anyone can do to another person in any hurtful situation or tender spot is have you or have me hear it from another person, from another source. I should not hear about anything that's going on in my house, or coming out of my house, or just my unity with another person, from an outsider. Hey, today's the day that we kind of knew I was going to have to help this person. How do you feel about that? If they're open and honest about the whole thing, as far as like, hey, yeah, she needs $100, her car is broken down on the side of the road, I told her, she's gonna have to pay us back, fine. But if I can't see the request, I'm gonna have an issue with it. If you want me to be on board with it, if you want me to walk alongside you and be a partner and an one for you, I need to know the details. Because people prey on the soft spots of a relationship. No one's going to respect something that you don't respect. So as long as we always show a united front, if we throwing pillows and fucking staples at each other in the bedroom, that's our business. If that's how we cope, that's how we cope. But whenever something like that happens, we need to show like, hey, yeah, I got $100 for you because I'm soft on you. But let's set that boundary. Make sure them boundaries that you set with me, when you be like, yeah, I don't like when you put the cereal in the little canister I like to pour mine out the box, and I don't like when you send your ex $100. So what we doing? What we doing? In a perfect world, the communication would happen right after. A screenshot would be sent like, hey, you little baby asking me for $100. Like, how you feel about that? Like, well, what's the scenario?
Moves unless my partner knows, and honestly, because like you said, sometimes you might have a child with that person. You might, whatever. This ain't just some random ex or like, I need a place to stay. Well, there's a great underpass down the street you can sleep under. Stay dry, stay warm.
She said my phone rings when his rings anyway. That ain't no iPhone. It's a Wii phone.
I like that.
As it should be. But we doing this.
When I think of this, I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen Why Did I Get Married To? Where her ex actually had cancer and she was going to help him, right? Which probably wouldn't have been an issue had she actually discussed it with her husband. But because he ended up going there and thinking that she was doing some foul things, and when he got to the door, she was there. So it made it look like she was doing something she shouldn't have been doing because she never discussed it with him. So now, even though you wasn't doing anything wrong, it still is wrong because you was doing something foul because you didn't even discuss it with your partner. You didn't have any communication with your partner. So in a way, it was kind of an infidelity in a way. Not saying that she was, doing anything wrong with him or even, anything sexual or anything past any help, but because you lied to your partner.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I always think of that like movie scene when I think about, like a boundary or especially when it comes to like an ex or something along those lines. Definitely should be discussed before any move is made.
So, Jen, the show is over, right?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. Every week,
So-
you want to go? Do you want to elaborate on that, Crenshaw? I feel like you do.
Yeah, so my answer to that is like first I was looking really confused because like I don't date nobody that have a relationship with their ex. That's why they your ex. So that's why it'd be easy for me to say no. 'Cause that's I don't do that.
No.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
do
kind
that.
of one of those.
Yeah, I
If
don't
you're
do
an
that.
ex, you're
Just do it like this.
an ex.
I learned in the 5th grade. You know what I mean? And I learned in elementary school. You know, 'cause in elementary school, sometimes you happen to date the girl and just date another classmate in elementary school. And if I learned at a young age, a girl would throw that in your face. Well, Kenneth didn't do that, so I ain't gonna have you do that to me as an adult. That ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Where you getting to argue with me and now you gonna go talk to your ex? Oh hell no.
Now, the only kind of like way around that I can kind of see is because I'm in a blended family. I'm a stepmother and he has a mother. So I could see if, maybe that she needed help or something along those lines, but it would be something that would be that we would discuss first. That's not just an ex because that is also, like his child's mother. So I think of things like that would be the only way that I would really kind of consider those type of that kind of ex as far as like that. But if it's just some random ex that's hitting you up, well, first of all, why do they even have communication with you? Why does this ex even have communication with you? Why is there a reason that any ex has any kind of communication way of communication? I'm sorry, if you're my ex, you're blocked for most likely. There is no communication. And send you $100. You better go pray. Okay, go to the Salvation Army and get help from them or something like that. Cause
so they drop 4 jets on their head. Where they do that at?
But
Where they do that?
But of course, every week, y'all, we wrap up the show with a quote, come to a place of healing or just to come to a close, y'all. But this week's quote is, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. That was by Breen Brown, y'all. Y'all, this has been the Red Room Talk. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I know we went over a little bit, but I do appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming to the show tonight. Of course, Crenshaw, you've been on the show many times. Queen, I have loved having you as a new member to the cast. Of course, I'm going to have you on again because you definitely have a lot of intelligence and you're not only beautiful, but you are intelligent.
She called me intelligent. Y'all heard that? Yay for me!
And of course,
I love that for you.
I
I love that for
definitely
you.
appreciate you.
Yes.
Always. But before I end out this show, I'm gonna play. Let's hopefully play a little ditty. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if it actually works this time for once. You know what I'm saying? Yes, and we got a new ditty, y'all. I can't stand it.